Which of the following organs have ducts that form a single common duct before emptying into the GI lumen? Meaning that there's a duct or an opening that are part of the organs that are within these choices. Maybe, maybe not. We'll look at the choices and see if that's true. And then once it's in its own duct, its own opening, it then empties into a new opening for the GI lumen, or the gastrointestinal system. So it goes from one duct to another, and that second duct is within the GI system. So, looking at the choices, there's some organs that repeat. So we have spleen here twice, so we know that we're going to review these glands, the parotid and the submandibular glands. So we'll look at this. We'll take a look at the liver, we'll take a look at the spleen, and we'll take a look at the pancreas. And we know that liver, pancreas, and spleen show up again in other parts of other answer choices. So these are the 4 that we're going to focus on to review. So option A says the parotid and submandibular glands, and these are glands that you could see here that are part of the mouth. So even though, yes, they may be involved in the digestive process, because as we know, digestion begins in the mouth when you start chewing and absorption begins, but that doesn't mean that these glands go from this duct down to a GI lumen. These ducts, these glands, they stay within the mouth. They don't connect directly to the GI system, so we can eliminate option A. Option B says liver and spleen. And if we take a look at this diagram here, over in this section there, we see that we've got our liver over here, and then we have the spleen is not part of this diagram. The spleen would be over here. So we've got liver and spleen. So taking a look at the liver, we could see that the hepatic duct that's here, that's part of the liver, it goes from the liver down into the GI tract. So that is correct about the liver. So we know that the liver does have a duct that empties from itself into the GI tract. So we know that it's going to be either option B or option C, probably, because these both involve the liver. We'll take a look at option D as well. But as we could see, option B says liver and spleen. Option C says liver and pancreas. So taking a look between the spleen and the pancreas, which one will it be? Now over here we've got our spleen. And as you can see, the spleen has vessels here, the splenic artery, all of that. However, it doesn't connect from a duct to the GI lumen. It is just its own system. It's not related to the GI or the digestive tract. Therefore, we know that spleen is not correct, and we can eliminate option B. So now we're left between option C and D. We know that the liver is part of it. It has a common duct that goes to the GI lumen. Let's see, is there anything in option D that we should still consider, or can we eliminate that and go with option C? Now looking at option D, we have the pancreas, which we'll look at now. We have our pancreas, but we've got our pancreas in option C and D, so we'll review that for both. And then option D also has the spleen, which we just eliminated in option B. We know that the spleen is incorrect. The spleen has vessels, but it does not directly go to the GI lumen. Therefore, we could eliminate spleen here, and we could eliminate option D. Option D also has pancreas listed, but pancreas is involved in options D and C. So let's take a look at the pancreas. The pancreas here has a duct, the pancreatic duct, that goes from the pancreas and then connects down into the GI system. So we know that pancreas is also correct, just like the liver, as having a lumen going from itself into the GI system, and therefore option C is correct. We eliminated option D because although pancreas is correct, spleen is not. We eliminated option B because although liver is correct, spleen is not. And we eliminated option A because the parotid and the submandibular glands are just within the mouth and not going to the GI lumen. Therefore, considering all of that and going through all these organs, we know that option C is the correct option here.